Welcome to the Heart of Giving. We're glad you're with us. As you know, we have a program that has two segments of the nonprofits. You know, I've said so many times that people really don't understand what the nonprofits do for our city. We have a city full of people that are working to make our lives better, and they're not doing it for money. And today we have a wonderful program that used to be called the Sarah House and the Cedar Center. Is that right? No, I said it wrong. It's just the opposite. The Sarah Center and the Cedar House. And it's called For the Child now. And when you hear what they do, you'll just be astounded at the things that are happening that need help that these wonderful people are doing for our city. And so it's nice to have you with us, Michelle Winterstein. So
nice to be here. Thank you.
As executive director, and Denise Dahlhausen, and we're going to hear from you in just a minute. So tell us, Michelle, what do you do at For the Child? Because it could be anything. You know, when you say For the Child, there's so many needs, but you have a specific goal.
We do, and you know, it's something that is sometimes difficult to talk about because child abuse and neglect is something most of us don't want to think about. But the children who walk through our doors each day have lived with very difficult situations: domestic violence, physical abuse, sexual abuse, sometimes violence in the community. It really does. It makes us cry sometimes, but we get to be there to help those children.
And tell us more about what you do to help them.
Well, children who've been through such difficult experiences, especially when they're very young, often develop emotional problems and behavior problems that can be very serious, and without help can follow them through their whole lifetime. So we provide professional counseling, therapy services. We have therapists, social workers, people that help them recover from what they've been through.
And how do they find you? How do they know that you're there?
Well, they find us in so many ways, but one of the things about being in Long Beach, which is just a wonderful community, is
I think so too.
Yeah, the police send the children to us. Child Protective Services, which is called Department of Children and Family Services in our community, send the children to us. So do teachers. The schools are so good at trying to figure out when children are having trouble in school. Is it because of a problem in the home? They send children to us. And sometimes people come to us themselves. We just had a young woman who grew up in foster care, and she had come to us when she was a child for help for sexual abuse. And when she became a young mother and had 2 children, she said, "I really want to be a good mom." So she called us and said, "I'd like to be in some parenting classes so I can make sure that I do a really good job with my children and that cycle of abuse doesn't repeat itself."
Well, you mentioned the counseling and the when they find you. What services do you offer? Specific services? I know that you have certain things that are special programs under your care.
Well, we do a very good, we do crisis intervention. We do assessment, therapy, which is counseling, parent education and support groups, all the services that somebody would need to help children that if they're having emotional problems. But we have some other wonderful programs too in our superior courts all across LA County, including in the new Duke-Majan Long Beach Court. We run the children's waiting rooms so that when families are at court with business before the court, their children don't have to be in the hallways or alone or having a 9-year-old supervising a 3-year-old or a child in a baby carriage. They have a really wonderful place to go play.
And they say that in the new court just opening this month, or next month, they're going to have a room or a place where they can be, rather than in the hallways.
They do, and we're already moved in and seeing children there. I visited yesterday, and it's already open and serving the families in our community.
Mm-hmm. How many children are involved in this right now? I know that they come and go, but...
Well, we serve over 6,000 child visits a year in just the Long Beach child waiting room.
Right?
26,000 across the county in all 9 of the superior courts.
Mm. Well, that's a wonderful program. There have been so many things that we've heard helping children, but children that have gone through terrible situations just break your heart. And so what you see every day must be difficult.
It is difficult, and I don't want to minimize that. The therapists that work with these children are wonderful, and many times they could be doing easier work, but they're dedicated to helping these children recover. Mm-hmm. And we feel so rewarded by seeing children get through and mm-hmm. knowing that they're going to go on and be able to have a good life mm-hmm. and contribute and,
And what are the ages about?
Well, really sadly, we sometimes even get babies that have been mm-hmm. abused. Mm-hmm. We help kids from infancy all the way up until they're 18. Mm-hmm. And then we help the young parents, as well. So mm-hmm. it's all ages of children and teenagers that go through abuse and neglect or witnessing violence.
Well, now, I love hearing what you're doing, because when you know that there's that problem and you feel helpless, it's good to know that there's some place where they're paying attention specifically to that. But we're talking all the time, and we haven't heard from Denise. You introduce her to us.
Well, Denise is amazing, because to do this work, you have to raise money. 90% of the children who come to us live below the poverty level, and Denise is our development director, and it's her job to bring in all kinds of funding support. And I'd like Denise to tell you a little bit about what she does.
We are, a typical nonprofit. We are funded with all types of funding, from government grants and contracts to private foundation grants, we do fundraisers, we do appeals.
We have individual donors.
Oh, we have individual donors.
And Long Beach is, when they hear about something like what you're doing, they're very generous.
And we use volunteers for mm-hmm. a lot of our work. We have an amazing group. We have a child abuse response team that is a group of just community people who go through 40 hours of training. And then when law enforcement believes they have a child who has been recently sexually assaulted, 24/7, these people get out of bed, they leave meetings, and they meet the child at the hospital to help them through the process. Mm-hmm. We respond in Long Beach, San Pedro, and Torrance. Mm-hmm. But all of this takes funding. Mm-hmm. And so my job is to write grants, to make personal appeals, to raise the money that we need for what we call our safety net kids. Mm-hmm. These are the kids who, for whatever reasons, don't qualify for Medi-Cal or other government funding, or their parents can't keep that in place because of their own emotional and other issues. Or the best of all worlds is we've reached a family early enough where some crisis counseling will help them move on, and it hasn't become a major mental health problem. Mm-hmm. And our goal is really to be able to do that. So it's important that we have the community support to allow us to meet all of those needs mm-hmm. and make sure that no child who goes through this or is severely at risk of this doesn't have a place to go mm-hmm. to get the help they need.
So you work in emergency situations a lot.
Yes, we do. Last year our CART team responded 110 times, which when you think about it, that's every third day of the year. Mm-hmm. And those are only the children who were reported, and it's only because it's been very recent. Mm-hmm. So there is a purpose to take them to a hospital for an exam. So I think it gives you a sense of the depth of the problem that we're seeing.
Well, I'm glad you're there. I'm glad that there are people, as I mentioned earlier, that care enough to extend themselves to really be passionate about what our needs are. And it's in every society in the United States. There are needs like this. Do you get referrals from the court?
We do sometimes, referrals from the court. But the wonderful thing here in Long Beach is the partners come in and get children and families to us sooner than that, so that we can help before it has to go to court, that we can make a difference early.
And you do a lot of parent training.
We do a lot of parent education groups for parents to help them learn how to really enjoy being a parent, enjoy their child, and to parent in ways that are healthy and not abusive.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
That time when a mother and a child is bonding originally with the baby is so important. And what we've learned, which Michelle could talk about a little bit better than I, about brain development in those first few years, we've started doing baby and parenting classes. We have toddler and preschool parenting classes. So we're really trying to reach.
That's wonderful.
We would just need much more time.
Yeah, I need more time too, and we're through. But thank you so much for being here, Michelle
for
and
having
Denise.
us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for what you do every day, and we really love. I speak for myself, but I know that thousands feel the same way in our city. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Judy Ross. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership. And we are so delighted to be partnering with Beverly O'Neill and PadNet, our new public access television network, with the Heart of Giving. This is an opportunity to really showcase our wonderful nonprofits in our community. The Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership helps nonprofits become strong and sustainable.
Welcome back. We're delighted that you're with us and can hear the next segment that we have. In the first segment, we had a wonderful program for children and what we were doing, or what they were doing in the city and for the child. Now we have something for seniors, and I'm so pleased to have you with us, Denise Leiker. You are the Executive Director of Independence at Home.
Vice President of Independence at Home.
Okay, well, that's all right.
No problem.
I got the...
Yeah.
Well, I think probably that's one of the most important things. I'm getting to the age where I think, I want to stay home. I want to stay in my home if anything happened to me.
Yes.
And, and there are thousands of city people in the city, because we have a large senior citizen population.
Yes.
So tell us what that means and what you do about it.
So nobody, if you ask them, will tell you that their goal is to be institutionalized at any point. Nor is it anybody's goal to really struggle to make ends meet. And at Independence at Home, we focus on care management and support services and all of our different pieces of our operations to help both the frail and economically challenged seniors and some disabled adults be able to remain in the place in the community. And what we do through that is our care management services provided by social workers and nurses working in teams, going out actually into their homes, meeting these people where they live to really help them put together all the pieces needed to be safe and at home.
But when you say people that need it, are you talking about the people that have to stay in their home because they physically can't leave, or they're elderly and?
No, we do have some people that are homebound, but we do have people that are able to go out into the community. When I say that, I mean people's preferences. I want to live here, and I don't want to be forced from my home because I'm too frail if there's resources
And
and
I'm all
services that can
alone.
help. And I'm all alone in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Or the family the family just doesn't know what to do because mom's had so many medical events happen, and now they don't know how to manage that and manage life. So it's alone as well as the people that do have support that just don't know what to do, or caregivers.
Okay,
that
now
are
give us
doing
some
both.
examples of things that you do to help them manage their home.
Sure. So one of the things we do is when we go and meet them in the home is we do an assessment with them and find out what's important to them, what's going on with them and what's important. We look at their health status. We look at what we call the social status. So are they able to get their bills paid on time, or do they need assistance with that? Do they have food? Do they have a place to store food like a refrigerator? Do they have if they have assistive devices, is their home set up so that they can actually safely move around and actually get in and out of where they're at? And we also look at their support systems, because a lot of times people may have somebody who can help fill in some of those gaps. They either don't know it, they don't know how to ask, and in other times those are all just big gaps that need to be filled. And so we then try to work to secure resources and services that will fill some of those gaps.
And who does it?
So our staff, we have a couple different programs in our office, and so we have mostly social workers and nurses and other allied professionals like a pharmacist. We have mental health professionals that work as a team looking at all of the cases and trying to match their needs with the best person able to suit their needs. We also have a volunteer program in our office, and so those that are isolated and really would like some companionship, which we know helps many of us in terms of the way we feel mentally and psychologically. We match volunteers from the community to provide those social supports. So we look at every person individually and have a team and different programs that we match their need to help them be able to remain in place.
How many people do you have right now that you're working with?
So we serve on average about 1,000 people per month. We are in a growing phase. Our host agency has given us some money to do some growing, so stay tuned. In 2014 and beyond, we're hoping to be able to serve more, and we're working on those plans now.
And how do they find you?
So the interesting thing about us is we've been in the community for 35 years. Our main program has been there.
I bet people nobody, well, I won't say nobody, because obviously thousands you've dealt with.
Right. But what we get a lot of our referrals from is because we've been in the community, active marketing sometimes is a little rough, because you go out and you market the service, and because we have limitations on how many people we can serve at a time based on our contracts, then they all start calling at one time, and then we have to wait list people. So word of mouth, and like the hospital discharge planners know about us. We have some doctors' offices that know about us. Senior building managers know about us. People who have experienced our service before, word of mouth a lot. We'll get a call from somebody that says, my neighbor says you're helping her and I need help. They also can find us through, a lot of times they find us through the county 211 assistance system, which is a resource line in LA County that seniors can call if they're looking for, like, I need meals or I need help, and the 211 line will connect them to the resources in their area. We also get some people that find us through the California Department of Aging's website as well. But we're pretty quiet, but we have a natural flow that comes in because we've been there for so long and we've built relationships in the community. A lot of churches will refer people to us as well in the area.
Well, there are so many people that are in their home alone.
Yes.
And can't get out. So the thing that you're doing, like meals and are things that other services also provide for that. Do you coordinate with the other services in the community to help you?
Yes, it truly does. I know it's kind of cliche, but it truly does take a village when you're working with a very complex and frail population. So we have we have some purchase of service money, but that's very limited. So we do work with the other providers in the community, and we ask when we go in, are you already getting services from somebody else? We don't duplicate, we work with. And so we do have people that get Meals on Wheels in the area, and we help coordinate and manage that, because sometimes if they're not responsive, their meals may stop, and so we help to bridge that. We also coordinate with in-home supportive services. There's some people that get that program to help them be able to pay a caregiver. We help them with that process as well. So our job really is to help them coordinate and manage and connect. The other thing is by being in the community for 35 years and being hands and feet kind of on the ground, our staff's 80% of the time driving around seeing people. We have a lot of relationships with churches and pantries and other services in the community, like other non-traditional services in the community, and they'll call us up and say, hey, we got a donation of some beds. Do you have someone that needs them? Oh, we got these refrigerators. And we can connect those kinds of dots for this population.
Well, just to have people come in and socialize, as you say, makes a world of difference. Being shut up without having someone that you can just chat with is very, very difficult. And so you have that program too.
Yes, our Volunteer Action for Aging program has been with us for the last 15, 16 years. And it is a blessing. We have fabulous people that volunteer and give of their time to give social reassurance and friendly visiting and telephone reassurance, because sometimes the senior may not want them in the home, but I'd love to talk to somebody on the phone. And they give of their heart and their time. And we've had a couple of volunteers that have been with us so long that they had a client who they were visiting for over 15, 16 years.
Oh,
and
my
then
goodness.
when she passed away, they themselves needed some help with the grieving process, because that person had become a part of their family. She had nobody else. But they had just, and they were dedicated and they embraced her. And we have other similar stories, not quite as long as that particular one, but it was so moving always to see that involvement. It's moving to see that involvement and see people give of themselves. And we have a lot of opportunities for people that want to. Some people don't like that quite that much of a commitment, that regular several times a month commitment. So our volunteer program does also do what we call episodic events. So we go out to low-income senior buildings and take groups of volunteers to provide social reassurance in that way too.
I think when we were chatting, I heard you talk about, we were talking about how this all started, and it was through the state that realized what?
So this all started back in 1977 when a group of seniors here in Long Beach were looking for better care for older adults. And the state of California had, simultaneously was identifying that, wow, nursing home costs are pretty expensive for the frail and poorest.
And they will go up.
And they will go up, and the state, those that are on Medi-Cal, the state's obviously paying for that. And so the state said, let's begin a diversionary program. Let's begin a program. What if we try this? If we try to keep them at home, since they have homes, and we try to provide them services in the home, will it be cheaper for the state?
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much. This today has been wonderful in what I found out about the things that are happening in our community and the people that are working so passionately for that.
Yes.
And thank you, Denise. How long have you been there with them?
I've been there 12 years.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
12 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Independence at home.
Yep, and you can find us on the web.
Very good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a good day.